just like to start with this quilt, but I'm going to talk, and you're not going to see me probably, because it's very big. So you have to go around that. Oh, around there, girl. Come on. Okay, so I started quilting probably in '93. So it's probably, I started quilting before that on my own, and I haven't got any of those quilts because they were thick, heavy, and I couldn't bring them, and quite ugly. So I haven't got those. So this is my first good quilt, I think. I started with, I went to the embroidery school and I did piecing as one of my elements of that. So right, this is order, so they can just go on the floor or anywhere you like. So this is the next one. So the log cabin quilt you've just seen had nearly, most of this fabric was non-quilting fabric. I also had the mattress factory quilted because I couldn't quilt. I had no idea how to do the quilting on it because it was too big. Right, the next one is, this one. So that was, the blue one was another one I made. This one was my first entry to Dare to Differ. And has it got a date on it? I haven't even got a thing on it. Is it? Got a date?
1994.
1994. So that was my...
in the attic. That was a book.
Pardon?
Flowers in the Attic.
Oh, was it? Okay. Right, now.
There's flowers in autumn.
Okay.
I read Attic.
That's got a lot of shears on it and a lot of sheared fabric. So I like to use different types of fabric. So I was actually machine embroidering, plus, excuse me, plus doing piecework. I didn't really know how they would ever go together because I didn't know what I was doing really. Right, next one, girls, come on. That's the top. That's the top. This one was my African influence, and you have to show the back as well because the back is quite interesting as well. I like to have my backs as interesting as the fronts, like my back and my front. Okay. Right, so that's still piecing. Right, now I've lost track now. Okay, here we go. One more. We'll see them from the back. Okay, turn it round. That's the back. Now you'll see the front. It's got it up the right way. Okay. It's got a label. Everything's got a label on. I'll make sure that it does.
It's a hanging sleeve, so that's a hint. Yeah, this is
sleeve.
the top.
Okay, so this has got, I think I've got to see, can't see them from here. This has got applique on it as well. And this I have machine quilted. That's 97. Some of these will be out of order a bit. So I'm still in the log cabins and then the applique on top, and it's all quilted by me as well. So I quite like this quilt, still like this quilt. Okay, and I used non-traditional fabrics. Okay, here we go. We're going to get through this. Okay. That one. Then there's this one here. It's got
back label.
Okay. Okay, so after this was the last. I've got a lot of quilts in between this as well. So when I went through my pile, I had about just as many as what I have right here. Okay, this one. I don't think the back's that interesting on that one.
Oh, I like the back.
Oh,
I like the back.
I'll turn around again. Let's have a look.
Apart from the Velcro on it.
Is that a panel, Suzanne?
Okay, yeah, that's just a panel. So
it's just a panel.
It's just a panel. Now, I went to India now what's that one? What year's that one? 99. I went to India in 99, and by that stage I was on the bus and I thought, how am I going to put my machine embroidery with my quilting? So I was on the bus and I thought, oh God, I want to go home now. So I worked out how I could use my log cabin type stuff and use an Indian influence as well. So that was one of my first ones of that one. Okay, now this is a big one with lots of danglies. This is a heavy one. This one. That's the top. And don't show the back, because the back's not interesting. Now this is all tangled up. Okay, go for it, girls.
We
can already see it. Yeah, she says it's got dreadlocks on it, but it hasn't. It's got claws. I had this on the board at home, on my design board, without these little things, without these. Okay? And it was very boring, and I thought, oh, I was teaching my students at school the cording, and I went, oh, I've solved the problem. I'll just connect it all and make it more like a template thing. So this was, I think it's 99 still. No, 2000. So it's after I got home, and so it would have been one of the first quilts that I made when I came home from India. Oh, excuse me, girls. Okay. Right, this is another little template one. I haven't brought many of my small quilts. I make lots of little small quilts.
Really heavy.
Can you girls just behave? Right, so I've made heaps of those, and most of them are sold. I've only got 1 or 2 left, and some of them are on my wall. Now, this one, is this the Chinese, Japanese one? Yes. I was asked, I got an email from someone, I have no idea still today where it came from, and you don't need to show the back on this one. This is a big one. So I got an email saying, would you like to enter a show in Japan? And it's going to travel to Korea as well. And they had, I should have brought the book, because there's a book, a catalogue book that went with it. They said, we'll pay you $500 to make the quilt. We'll pay for all the delivery over and back. And you'll be in this wonderful exhibition. And there was only 3 people asked from Australia. So it was a worldwide exhibition. That was really wonderful. And this has got heaps of, I won't step over the border, heaps of machine embroidery. And it's all from my drawings that I do as well. So it all had flowers that are, and this was done on a domestic machine. And it was fun trying to get it underneath an ordinary machine without a large. I'm going fast because I've got lots of quilts and I know I'm not allowed to talk over 20 minutes. Right, hang on, this is my next style. Hang on, girls. No, this is not, it's not in order. It's not in order.
Let's entertain yourself. Yeah, talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, alright. No, it's not in order. These are all mine. I've mucked up the order already. That's alright.
I'm sorry.
We're going back now.
Okay, now we're going backwards.
We're going backwards. Yeah, we're going backwards. So, I knew I'd do this. This is
Chickens?
Mrs. Chook and
97. So we're going 2 years back. So forget the Indian bit. So we're going back now.
Going back
this
to log
is still
cabin.
my log cabinet stuff. And we are going right back because this is 96.
No, this is the fun. No, that's right.
So these are my log cabinet ones. There's another one here that you can see as well. Okay, I have mucked up the order. Sorry about that, people. Oh, the chook's fine. He's only little. And I love the back of this one. That's my favourite of this one.
Oh yeah.
And it's got buttons. This one's got buttons on it too.
Got knobs on it.
Got what?
Buttons on it.
Okay. So this is when I was still learning quilting and still trying to work out what I could do with quilting. So I love my piecework. Yeah. Right, now we're getting. Okay. So I'm going to show you this one. This one's later, but it's still 2012, but it's still my log cabin type quilts. This was in Sydney exhibition. Black and red. Yeah, I love black and red, and I'm still doing log cabin. I love log cabin. It comes up everywhere in my work. Okay, we've got a bit of a muck up over here.
This one?
Yeah, you can show this one now. Now this is the net section of work. Just put these up. So this is what date we're looking at. It hasn't got a date on it anyway. So this comes with, no date, forget the date.
Forget the date.
This is my applique work. I absolutely love the applique. I can't stop doing applique, and I love flowers. I grew up in a nursery. I didn't grow up in the nursery, but I grew up, my parents owned a nursery. So I used to, when I was a little kid, I used to sit in the fern gardens, and my grandfather had a, you can hold this one up next to it, leave that one up. And my grandfather owned a hothouse that had tropical plants in it and flowers, and I used to love going and sitting in there when I was really small. And we used, my grandfather and grandmother used to sell cut flowers, so when I used to wake up in the morning I could see lots and lots of flowers everywhere. So I've never forgotten that, and still in my thing now. I'm really mucking up. So this is another one that belongs to that series. This one here. Yeah, we're right. We've got the right order now.
We're back on it now.
Okay.
Everyone can relax.
Okay. Right. This next one. Okay. This one. Now this is very different again.
This is not yours.
No, this is mine. This was called. Is there a name on that? That's got a name on it, I think. And we had an exhibition. This is called Treasured Past, and I've always wanted to know what to do with my doilies that I've collected, and I want to do some more things. I've got 55,000 ideas in my head.
I've got 55,000 doilies.
Yeah, this is New Directions, and this was an exhibition that I was involved with the SALT group, South Australian Living Textile Group, and this one is my favourite quilt of all time. And I teach, and that influenced this lot of work as well. So I do lots of drawing, and I do lots of drawing of flowers and whatever, and the New Direction was having all of the pieces at the back, and then this is a new, called my Create New Fabric, and I teach a class on that, and I've taught a class for 2 or 3 years, or a few years on that, whenever it was. I don't know what it was. Who knows? Okay. So this is the combination of the flowers and 2016, so we're getting along. So we're going okay for time. I'm running through it. So this was gazanias in my garden, and if anyone follows my Facebook page, they will see gazanias everywhere. And I've just bought a whole lot of new ones. And I've pinched a few out of the places that I stay and borrow, and you know, I only take a bit to go out my garden. And so this is all log cabin and highly quilted within a quarter of an inch or less. I don't quilt straight because I don't like straight lines. Don't use a ruler or anything like that. Right, now we're getting smaller because I don't make big quilts now. Oh, this is me. We have I run a fibre artist network group. I haven't got the right glasses on today, sorry. But we had a fibre artist network, and we had an exhibition, and it was called Essence. What year was that? 2013. So we now jumped 20 years. And we had an exhibition called essence, and we had to do a sort of portrait. So what I thought, I was sitting home and I thought, I'll do my portrait, and I'll do all the flowers coming out of my head, which is what happens. And I had all these flowers from the 70s, 80s, all cut up, ready to go, so it was really easy. And I wanted to use the really pastel floral fabrics that I would never use anywhere, and I used these. So that was a really good exhibition. It's quite good. Now, hang on girls, hang on. We've got to see what dates we are here. 16. I belong to 2 groups. You can hold both of those up together. They both belong together. So I belong to a group where we made small pieces, and that was the red. So that was red. What was that one called?
Yellow?
Yellow. Oh, really? Yeah, okay, fine. So I did sunflowers. But for this exhibition, we had to do a collage a day in paper, and we did 365. I've still got the books. I have now a whole two books like that, because we did 2 exhibitions with it. And then we did A4. We did A4 pieces. Sorry, we did A4 pieces as well. And so the collage pieces and the A4 piece, and this went with the exhibition. So there was 4 of us. It was a really fantastic exhibition. So really pushed me to. So these you could see the influence from the collages, but the collages are still there, and they're fantastic design section. Now we're moving on a bit. Okay, we're not moving on at all. We're standing still. Hang on, girls, hang on. No, I think we have to talk about these.
You go to the cricket yesterday. No, I haven't.
Okay, yeah, all right, okay. This series here, now girls, move over that way. Thank you very much, helpers. We'll be back in a minute. So this series here was with the salt exhibition as well, and it was 5 pieces that we had to do. So this is my Indian influence. This is all reverse applique. So if you have a close look at this, this is all really fine details. This fine bit here, I was cutting with, had black tulle on the top, and I was cutting that back after I had shingles all over my face. And I had to finish this, and my eyes were so sore. Luckily I didn't lose any sight from it, but it's another story. So if you haven't had your shingles vaccine, go and have it. Pay for it if you have to, because it's just not something you want to live with, and I live with it every day now. So this was, these were all from my photographs and my drawings. I should have brought my drawings. I have full-size drawings of this, which are called cartoons, and they are all in there. So these were photographs that I had, and also I've printed photographs from some of the things that the temples and things that I went to. So this is really worth coming to have a close look at it, because this has got heaps of my own machine quilting on it, and it's really fine detail. So you can't actually see it from back there. And I think this one, I'm going behind here, through here. Yeah, these were about the same time, and they were made for an exhibition I had called Flowers Always, I think. Yeah, Flowers Always. And so I had 50 or 60 pieces in the exhibition. So I haven't brought any of my small pieces that belong to that exhibition. Right, girls, I'll have you back, please. Back. Now, I love, yeah, go on, hold that one up. I love traditional work, and I love incorporating traditional work into the contemporary aspect. So this is a panel that I made for another exhibition, and it was called, what was it?
Structures.
Yeah, Structures, Southwest.
You like that, yeah?
Oh, thanks very much. Southwest Asian walk, and when I go travelling, I love to walk across bridges. I've got a thing about bridges. So this bridge down, hang on, this bridge here is in Hanoi, and it was the bridge in the war that was bombed to death, and they have reconstructed it. This bridge was made by the same person that did the Eiffel Tower, and it's really interesting. And it was a long walk across. I thought, oh yeah, it'd be great. We took a huge walk to get there, and then I had to walk across the bridge, and the bridge was above the water. You could see the water underneath, and as you walked across the bridge, it was a railway bridge and a motor bridge, and as you walk across the bridge, it just went like this all the time, and this. So you're walking across the bridge. I got to the other side and said to my husband, that's it, I'm not walking back. So we called a taxi back. So and then this one is in Hanoi as well. This is the Chinese bridges, and this one is Japanese bridge in China. So it's Japanese when they had Japanese invasion, and I love hexagons. I still love hexagons. You should see how many I've got made, but not processed yet. How am I going for time? Yeah, I'm right. I will answer questions. Now that one's got to stay last. Right, this one. I'm trying to rush through it, and I haven't brought everything. Here we go. No, excuse me. That's, oh yes, you're right. Sorry, darling, you're right. I have to admit she's right. Okay. Oh no, I've got two more here. Okay, no. This one was, you won't know the title. This title for the exhibition was Seeing Red. Well, did I say, yeah, but it was, the actual thing was Seeing Red and then Chinese Red. When I was little, my grandfather would take me to the only Chinese restaurant in Rundle Street, up the top end, near Pulteney Street. And I was just totally amazed when I was only little, probably about 6 or 7, and I was totally amazed with the red, the colour red in the restaurant. After that, I fell in love with Asia, and I've been travelling to Asia since I was 17. I went on my first overseas trip on my own. My mother, I got a passport, and my mother had to sign it under duress so that I could actually go. And I used to work part-time when I was a student, and I've always travelled since. I think I've been to Singapore probably 30, 40 times. And so this was the lanterns that I see everywhere. This has got lots of interesting, this has got what I call pizza method in it, and it's got lots of fabrics in it, and it's really, I like this colour. Oh, really? I don't like that colour. This one? You don't like it? No, this one was the winner in, no, of course I do. This is one of my Indian ones. This was made out of all the bits that was left over from these quilts. When I make quilts, I make a lot more units, as I call them, like these are all separate units. I make a lot of separate units, and then I apply it to put it together. Well, I had to make something for the quilt show. So I made this for the quilt show, and this entered into fabric applique. Hang on, let's read it. Applique large professional, and I won first prize with it. So it's this is reverse applique as well. These are all found pieces. I collect, don't I, Helen? Collect and collect. This one won a prize. This one here won first prize for Art Innovative first prize, and this one won best of colour. But they only had 3 pieces in the exhibition and the Festival of Quilts. I couldn't find a picture of the 3, so I just bought the lot. And I have more. I have 8, but I've sold some already. Right, now we're getting up to the more up-to-date ones. We've only got 2 more to go. So, right, this is 2019. This was called Grids and Doorways. This is from each place I've been to when I've done drawings. This one is Singapore. This one is Morocco. And the others, I don't know where they come from. Anyway, this has got jewellery on it as well. Jewellery and lots of quilting. This was really interesting because you can show the back of this. Because this is technically was a nightmare. Because I've made each of these pieces in the front separate. Then I had to join it. And once I joined it, I had a bit of a mess. So I had to actually put like a binding over the top of the joins. But I quite like it. I think it's quite interesting. And each of the back, and I love batik. So a lot of my small pieces have batik on them at the back. I just op shop and I buy, all my friends and I like batik, and so they give me a bit of batik. But I love batik fabric. And that's why I don't like going down to Trisha's, because I know it's been a fortune. Now, this is the very last one. This one is 2020. I just want to say something first about why I haven't got 2021. So I retired in 2021 from 50 years of teaching. I was an art teacher and textile teacher. Get your fingers off it because you like this one. So this year I have not made anything. I have cleaned my studio, cleaned all my books and sorted out all my books, sorted out myself what I'm going to do, and I've started some classes at home, which have been very successful, and nice small numbers, and it's been lovely. And this was made for what? An exhibition, an fibre artist exhibition called no, that's not right. It was called Pink. And I had a thing called anything but, it was called a dash of pink. I had this called anything but a dash of pink. So this was my last big quilt. And this is, right, you've got to find the, you've got it? Okay. And so this is the combination
And it
of,
was made for me.
no, it wasn't. This is the combination of my piecing and my quilting. And I was going to actually add other flowers. There's one bit missing somewhere. Did you take something home, Helen?
Helen, I didn't think you'd notice.
No, I thought there was another little flower one somewhere. Oh yeah, there was. You know the pink, the red one with the white flowers on it? I was going to put flowers all over this, but after I finished making it, I said no, I loved it as it was. And the back's a bit boring. No, the back is a bit boring. I used all my black and white fabric. Now I need this fabric. Okay, for something else. So that was my last big quilt, and this was a nightmare because I had to go and buy a new machine to like get it underneath the machine to quilt. So I thought I better buy myself a new machine. Bought myself a new machine, and that's another issue. Bought myself a new machine, and then within a month I took it back and replaced it with another one. So I'm happy with what I've got now, because I wanted a wide.
Well, there you are, Cindy.
Right, no, Cindy, I'm watching you.
I'm watching you.
Okay, so I've now progressed to going back to scrap quilting, little tiny crumb scrapping, and I just love it. I'm just hooked on it. I get hooked on something, like you can see. I got hooked on all the log cabin stuff, which I still love, and I can't get it out of my head from the first one I ever made. But I don't use traditional fabrics. It's not that I don't like buying quilting fabrics, because I have got 55,000 back borders, haven't I?
I know it. I've seen them all.
Just been to my, and if you haven't seen my studio Jane and Cindy. Is it Jane and Cindy? I think have a look at the studio, because I have a huge purpose-built studio. The story is with my studio, and probably up there. Oh, there I am, there in my studio. And this is some of the quilts you have not. Have I got a couple more minutes? So this is some of the quilts that you haven't seen. And that one is the work in progress. That one you've seen. So there's, you know, it's a matter of looking at, and that one you've seen. There's my glasses. I do have them. I can't wear them. And that's part of my bookshelf area. That's my office area. Can you all see that? Yeah. So that's my office area. That's my lounge area where I sit and watch TV. And that's part of my stash. That's about a third of my stash. That one I don't think is here. No,
maybe about a quarter.
Yeah, probably about a quarter. Yeah. So, I'll finish up. I just think that I'm absolutely passionate about fabric. I have since I was a little girl. I sewed hand dolly things. My mother couldn't sew a stitch. I didn't have any grandmums. My great auntie taught me how to sew and knit. And I would stay with her on some weekends when my parents were off selling in the country fairs with their garden stuff, and I used to go with them as well. But my grandfather was fantastic. He was a great traveller, and so he made, and that quilt I don't have, that one I have here. So quite a few quilts that are up here and not here. I probably have another 100 quilts that I didn't bring. So that's just a selection of where I've started and where I've come, and you can see how the connection is all there. So it's, what are you doing? What are you doing, girls? Not doing anything? Right, thank you, helpers. I'd like to say thank you. Is there any questions? I can answer questions. No question, yes.
Yeah, do you actually do painting on your work?
No. These here are all hand-dyed fabrics. So they are like quilting, the hand-dyed fabrics. And then they are what I teach a class called Create New Fabric. And these are creating the fabric first and then cutting it out of the fabric. So they are not, there's a bit of fussy cutting in here, like these little bits here are fussy cut, but it looks like painting, it's not painting. It's actually, but I have been trained as a painter, so it's just how I feel with painting. But I can't keep losing the quilt aspect of it. Any other questions? And I'd like you to come and have a look afterwards and have a close look, have a feel. I'm not precious about my quilts. Yes?